July 14th, 2024. Oh, the last couple of days have been horrible, but it's got a lot better. Up in Akron on Friday on the way home, a bunch of motorcycle guys drove by. They actually looked to see who was in that hospital confessing. And that guy's telling everybody he's the agent over her case. That's how not funny it is. I've been telling everybody not to say a word. Well, do you realize how big a jackass this you look like? You're harassing a rape victim. A human trafficking victim that cartel's running a scam. You look like idiots. Morons. Yesterday, the drug cartel was in Belden Village. I went to LensCrafter and I got out and they're yelling stuff across the parking lot. The drug cartel was at Belden Village. Some of them. Okay? I went home and me and a couple of friends, we went to the mall. And I walked off a little bit and I heard some people, we heard what was wrong with her before. It wasn't even connected to that family. Why would they say a word? It had nothing to do with them. Exactly. They're making up shit to control people. You can't even feel sorry for them. We go to Golden Corral. Okay? People are like, those doctors almost killed her. What would they say? Exactly. Because I want you to think about the whole scenario. I have people follow me, and when you realize how fucking retarded you are, then people are like, oh my God. See, that's where the whole thing of it is. Strange going into that agent's office and say she was faking before. Well, who told you? God. God told him nothing. Well, who told him that? Who told him? God. God didn't tell him nothing. God don't lie. Start thinking about this. Who told him? My doctors could talk to him. So where would he get his information? He made it up. See, I went through the whole thing of being sick, to Strange taking Danny, to them nailing my mom's tires, and him making up that shitty lie to cover up Tim and Katie. It hits levels of not funny. It hits levels of not funny. And so, okay, I'll do it again for the ignorant morons. One day, 20-something years ago, I double over screaming. Okay? I double over screaming. And Dave rushes me to the hospital. And they do an emergency appendectomy. Okay? And they said it didn't look bad, but the way she's screaming, we took it out. A couple months later, I'm screaming again. In the same spot. And they said, have you ever been checked for a cyst? And I had endometriosis, fluid-filled cysts growing inside me and bursting. They were bursting so bad I was bleeding into my stomach. And they tried burning treatments and medication causing kidney stones. I had to get stents put in and out of my kidneys. It got in there, had to go through my belly button and around my belly button until I got thick scars. One time they were bursting so bad, I was bleeding into my stomach. They said if I would have been in the hospital to do emergency surgery, I would have died. It got so bad my uterus flipped over. I had to have a lower hysterectomy. A couple months later, I'm screaming again. The endometriosis was all over my ovaries. One ovary had little cysts bursting, and the other one had one, they said, as big as a golf ball. They said the golf ball bursts, you're dead. We won't be able to control it. So they cut me side to side and took my ovaries out. Okay? From all that, my gallbladder quit working within a few months, and I had to have my gallbladder out. Okay? Then I had scar tissue form in a ball in my stomach. I had to have that removed. My muscles are already twingy. I'm in pain from being cut so many times over 2 years. Then one day I start bleeding super bad. And I go into the hospital, and it's my kidney itself bleeding. My one of the stones had kinked the kidney tube. They had to cut me 4 inches on my back and take the damaged part out. Okay? That's when my muscles locked up. Stupid me went to pain management, and the ones that I went to might as well had a witch doctor's outfit on and had a voodoo doll that they were sticking needles into. They were that incompetent. They started me on medication. My feet started swelling. I said, is the medication? No, you have underlying conditions brought out from the surgery. I was having an allergic reaction. Give me more medicine, more swelling. Okay? My feet are going numb from the swelling. They send me to other doctors. You have underlying conditions coming out. No, I didn't. Only thing was wrong with me, my muscles were caught in so many places. Didn't have time to heal, and they clenched. That's the only thing wrong with me. Perfectly healthy human being. They made me gain 150 to 175 pounds. I started out at 105. And within a year, I was 250 to 275. My legs are double in size, and I have so much fluid on my legs that my knees are popping out of place. And I'm going to orthopedic doctors, and they're pulling out turkey-based syringes of fluid and putting steroids in. They gave me canes and braces because I'm falling. My feet are literally this thick. My thyroid, my adrenal gland shuts down. They enlarge my heart valves, and I have many heart attacks. I'm on calcium blockers and nitro pills. My brain starts swelling. I'm having seizures. I get diagnosed with epilepsy. My brain swells up so bad. They told me that I had level 2 pituitary tumors. I needed my pituitary gland removed out of my brain. You'll lose part of your memory. And you'll have to be on replacement hormones for that the rest of your life to live. Before I'll let them cut into my brain, I go to Altman Family Physicians. And I said, what do you think about the brain surgery? She's like, whoa. And she literally puts her hand up. Whoa. We need to have a long talk. What those doctors are actually doing. They're known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping off their insurance, making them sick so they have to come back. They're falsely diagnosing to write out big prescriptions from $200 to $1,000 kickbacks from the drug companies. They're getting kickbacks. You have the golden ticket insurance company. I said, what's that? No one pays for almost everything. Paid like 75-80% of everything. And they're using it as a checking account they can just drain. You're not the first person they made sick, and you're not the only one. You need to turn them over to the state so they pull their license, and you need to get an attorney and sue them. Negligence is 1 to 8 years and $1.5 million fine. Without gross negligence, fraud, insurance fraud. It's immoral and unethical what they did to you. There's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. Well, they said I have level 2 brain tumors. You have brain swelling from the medication. They said I have epilepsy. She said, and I said, I'm having seizures. You don't have epilepsy. The brain swelling is causing it. Get off the medication, you'll be fine. Including the heart attacks and everything else. They damaged my heart. My heart still flutters. They enlarged the heart valves. I have documents proving they enlarged the heart valves. If I would have sued them, I probably would have been a millionaire. Okay? I go to Dr. Eli. Ask him for another opinion. Same thing. It's medicine making you sick. Only thing that's wrong with you is your muscles locked up. Get you off the medication, you'll be fine. He said, but your muscles are locked tight because they seized from being cut in so many different places. They didn't have time for the nerve ends to heal, so they clenched. He said, and they're locked so tight, I got to get you out of enough pain to move. And once you move, blood flow will get pushed back into them. As blood flow gets pushed back into them, they'll relax, and then we can build new muscle tissue. He said, you'll be fine. But I just got to get you out, move. Put me on fentanyl. Fentanyl's 100 times stronger than morphine. And muscle relaxers. First month I lost 30 pounds. I was out pulling myself around stores, malls, I got so much pain the second month that I ended up in the hospital. By the end of the second month, beginning of third month, brain swelling's gone. Heart's back in rhythm. Like I said, it still flutters at times because they enlarged my heart valves. They damaged my heart. My thyroid, my adrenal glands working again. Brain swelling's gone. I could drive a car. I would take my canes and braces and I would pull myself up and down streets, malls, stores, did my own grocery shopping. I'm losing weight like crazy. I had so much fluid on me. One doctor said it's almost like you need dialysis and you're still urinating. Your body can't keep up with the fluid that it's creating. They still didn't pull me off. I want you to think about that. From November of 2002 to April of 2003, I went from a 24 to a 16. That's why I got like 3 arms. May 3rd, 2003, we're all at home. We kept our kids home because we're working on the house and there was a church baseball game. Brian Laney showed up and said, I want to tell you Phil and Tyler are dead. And we're like, what? He said, well, the church baseball game, a bunch of them were running late. Phil was one of the lead cars. And everybody couldn't believe he didn't even try to stop at that stop sign. He blew right through it into a semi, killing him and Tyler both. He's seen me walk outside with just my braces on, waddling like a duck, May 3rd, 2003. I got my fentanyl patches redone in June of 2003, and I finished getting well in July. Okay? Come November of 2003, from getting off fentanyl patches, the withdrawal is horrible. Absolutely horrible. I left patches on longer, so they'd be less effective, trying to leave them off for a time. And it took me months to get completely off of it. I was getting really bad headaches from the withdrawal. I stayed home, well, on a Wednesday night before it happened, Strange taking Danny. Wednesday night I was at church. My sister Linda is married to Strange's kid, Tim. She comes up to me and I was following him again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. She was out one day and she seen her husband, Tim, and he was with Katie. And so every time he left, she started following him. She came up to me at church. She said, I was following them again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful. I'm like, great, thanks. Do you know what Strange's response was? Sunday morning. I think they were actually going to kill me in 2003. But Danny tried to kill herself. Because she got caught following him and Katie together, so they were just going to kill me. I want you to think about that. Danny is a little 14-year-old kid. He comes home from church. Now I'm laying on the couch because my head hurts. And he comes in, he's like, you're not my mother, I don't have to listen to you. I'm like, whoa, you're grounded. You're 14. And he starts screaming crazy crap. And I'm like, looking at him, he's acting nuts. And he runs out of the house. Josh walks in the room. What on earth is wrong with Danny? I said, I don't know, let's go over to his girlfriend's house. So we go over. He was dating Heather. Her mom, Joy Mendez, and her sister, Brasilia, was there, and Heather wasn't. I said, well, Danny's been thinking about killing himself. And I said, kill himself? He said that minister wants him to help destroy people in the church. He's 14. He said he'd rather kill himself than hurt someone else. And he's been talking about killing himself for a while. That's my baby. I am freaking out, driving up and down streets, looking for him. I see that minister's vehicle at the church. I said, Josh, I don't want him to know Danny's acting out till I find out what's going on myself. And I said, wait here in the car. I step through the glass door. He pins me by my face. Confess you were never sick. That's ridiculous. You know that was like a 4 or 5 year span. 4 or 5 year span. People watched me go through all those surgeries. They watched me over a year or two swell up like a balloon. Almost die in cardiac wards, hospitals. They watched me almost die. And then over 9 months slowly get well. To say you weren't sick during that is insane. Dave even told Strange in November of 2002, all the medicine's been making her sick. They're going to put her on morphine. He called them morphine patches. And when she gets off the medicine, she'll be fine. And they just got to get her out of enough pain to move. Her muscles are just locked up. Okay? Alright, so I tell Josh to wait out in the car. I step in, he pins me by my face to the back door, confess you were never sick. I'd never do that. That's absurd. He's like, you're a spoiled little brat nobody likes in the church. He said, and you're Satan. And just the sight of you would hurt the church's children. I am not that ugly. He's like, you'll be lucky to see your kid again and you get off my property. A parent asks for a child. If I would have called 911, cops don't care. You take someone's kid and you withhold it, it's kidnapping. It's automatic jail time. It's kidnapping. You cannot withhold a child from a parent. It's kidnapping. You have no rights to it. I go out to the car and I said, Josh, take me. He's like this. And I said, take me up. Dave didn't always have big jobs. He was working part-time at Pizza Hut. I said, take me up to Dad at Pizza Hut. I go in there, I got a big welt on my face where he had been pinning me to the door. And I said he took Danny. And he had me pinned to the door. See my face? It hurts. And he's like, Karen, I'll go home. I'm going to clock out. I'll come pick you up. And we'll go over and find out what on earth is going on with Danny. Instead, he goes over there. I call my mom. I'm crying my eyes out. She calls over there and she says, you better give Danny back. We'll give Danny back when we're done. She calls me back and she tells me that. She said, Karen, I'm never going back there. This is crazy. They can't just start taking people's kids from them. No, they can't. Dave comes home, you're never allowed to go to church again. I said, why? He said, Strange says you're Satan and just the sight of you will hurt the church's children. Don't look at me, starts screaming like a damn nut and runs outside. Michelle next door comes over and says, Karen, what on earth is going on? I'm crying like crazy. Josh is crying like crazy. I go sit on our front porch. Jerry walks outside and said, I ripped that church off, the door off that church and get my kid back. My mom calls me again. I walk off crying. Dave comes home. I said, where's Danny? He said he'll give him back when he's done, and I'm going to church and you're never to go to church again. Danny got home that night and he's shaking like he has cerebral palsy. His whole body is vibrating. Mom, I'm sorry, he lied. And he just shook. He shook for over a month. Next morning, I hear the car start up. It's Danny. He's 14. He's taking my car. I'm running out. There was a big tree in the middle of Lenox, and the car's aiming for it, and I'm running after it, screaming. And he looks like this and passes out in the front seat. And by the grace of God, it didn't hit a house or a tree. It rolls off. I get down there, I push him over, I get the car back home. Josh helps me carry him in. I leave him alone for a minute to go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and I hear the dirt bike start up. There used to be a telephone pole at the end of Lenox. And he's driving that dirt bike straight towards it, and I'm screaming, and he looks back and he crashes in the gravel. He got all cut up. We ended up in the crisis center. He told crisis center Strange took him that day, wouldn't let him leave. He starved him all day. Screamed at him on the pulpit till he passed out, and screamed at him until he did what he was told. And that's why he tried to kill himself. He told Georgine Vovuso at the Stark County Child and Adolescent Center. I know her first name was Linda, and I think the last name was Mendez, Stark County social worker. For the Child and Adolescent Center, the same thing. And the Stark County psychiatrist for the Child and Adolescent Center, the same thing. He was diagnosed with post-traumatic syndrome. He became bulimic at 6 foot tall. He got down to 118 pounds. He would vomit all the time. That's why he has no teeth. By November 2003, our insurance had elapsed. I had to go out and get a full-time job with insurance. We couldn't leave him alone. So I had to hire babysitters. My wonderful neighbors and the people I started working with would come over and let me go to work so I could take him to counseling, buy his medication. And I was like, I don't have a lot of money to pay you, but I'll pay you to come sit with him so I can afford to take care of him. And they said, if you just have food in your house, we got something to eat while we're there, we're good. And they watched him for free. And we weren't allowed, I couldn't leave him alone for 6 months. I was in the Stark County Child and Adolescent Center with the psychiatrist. There was 2 detectives in there with trench coats. They had to make a police report of abuse of a child. It's law. They found the county records last October. It's in Stark County, documented. Strange pushed Danny to suicide. And they're in there complaining. She doesn't want to prosecute him. She wants her son to get well and don't want to put him through it. That church better not pull another thing again. And the detectives were complaining. The FBI would have known. Strange took Danny and pushed him to suicide. They would have known that. Georgine Vilruso called Dave and said, I want your participation in that minister taking Danny and assaulting your wife. He said, I wouldn't talk to you without an attorney. She said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put it this way. Anything happens to Danny or your wife again, I'll put you in jail myself. I'll go back 20 years and put him in jail. Do you understand? And they back way off. My mom would not go back to that church, and they started putting nails in our tires, sharp objects, until she moved to Illinois. She made a police report of what happened to Danny. And they said if you wouldn't have moved away, that occult would have killed you. So, what was wrong with me? Did it have anything to do with the Vegas and her father speeding and running a stop sign in front of people and killing their kid? No. 6 months later, Strange makes up a shitty lie to get rid of me real quick because he thought I caught his son in an adultery. Did it have anything to do with them and their incident? No. That's where people yesterday, that minister lying on them, had nothing to do with that family. Nobody say a word. What are they doing? See, like they said up in Hartville, that family's making up stuff to harm and kill people. I found out 2 weeks ago they were telling people in Hartville I killed their kid. I didn't kill their kid. I wasn't even there. They're just lying. They're running around lying. Trying to get other people to do the Charles Manson thing by killing people by proxy. See what I mean? This area, people are acting like fucking morons. And a cult is having somebody drug, beat, and raped, and you're not mad. They're hiring drug cartels to stalk them in their home, sell them on porn sites, photoshopping shower scenes, going in and either stabbing somebody with a date rape drug or lacing somebody's drink like a Diet Coke when they're out of the room and they don't even know they're there, and have them drug, beat, and raped. And the poor victim doesn't know what happened to them. And they're drugging them up and telling them to say stuff, and they're so gay they're trying to say they had sodium pentothal reports. Huh? And you would fall for that? And photoshopping or showering in a sextortion act? And people weren't outraged at that church for pulling a stunt like this? No, they've been making fun of the victims. People should have been furious at that church. Who do you think you are? And then they're trying to say they're going to get, that they got my medical information. Where'd you get my medical information? There's HIPAA violations. My doctors can't even talk to the feds. See, even the police said, even Will knew none of her real doctors could talk to him. Ever. Without my signed consent. They'll go to jail 1 to 5 years and $250,000 fine. Like they said, they had some guy impersonate a doctor. December 31st, 23 in Altman Hospital. My God, nobody's ever talked to those people. They had somebody impersonate a doctor from Altman Hospital selling people's information. The hospital gets sued. And nobody's going to ever back those doctors. Before, they were all lying, ripping off her insurance and making her sick. No one's going to ever back people making people sick and ripping off their insurance with medication errors. No, that's fraud, medical malpractice. It's documented medical malpractice and medication errors. Dave and I, the Altman Family Physicians encouraged Dave and I to sue him for 2 years. We were talking about suing them, and Dave said, I want you to make sure you're well enough you can sit in a courtroom, Karen, before we get an attorney and start filing against them for almost killing you. I would have been a millionaire, but I had to take care of Danny. If he wouldn't have pulled that stunt, yeah. Negligence. If they cause you harm, they lose their license. They can go to jail 1 to 8 years. We got gross negligence, fraud, and attempted murder. See, that's where yesterday, people said, well, where did those doctors almost killed her? Where did they think that they could actually ever say a word? Where did you? Because they're stupid, low-educated people. I'll tell you what, my one neighbor, he went into Altman Hospital. They almost killed him this last winter. He goes in, and he said, there's something really wrong with me. And they said, oh, you only got gouts. Gouts, swelling in the joints. They send him home. A couple days later, he goes back, there's something really wrong with me. They said, there's nothing wrong with you, go home. He goes back the third time. He's like, look, there's something wrong with me. You got to help me. And he begs this doctor to actually do his paid damn job. He had a blood clot in his neck. He was days from death. Does he have gout? No. And I bet, I'll tell you what, if somebody went online and said how many people were falsely diagnosed in this area from Altman Hospital, or lost a family member or a friend because they were falsely diagnosed or mistreated, there could be a class action lawsuit on ungodly levels. Because I've heard other people complain about them. Now, when I go in the BMV and you check, do you have seizures? Do you have epilepsy? What do I check? No. Because I want you to think how gay and stupid this sounds. I don't know what to check. I was being treated by pain management and different doctors for pain, and they caused me to have brain swelling, which caused seizures, and they lied I had epilepsy and almost killed me. Do you want me to check yes or no? But it was a medicine make me sick. That would be a no, and my God, I hope you sue them. I don't acknowledge anything they said. I worked with this one person. Now, I take care of people from seniors to disabled to emotional disorders. I take care of people across the board. You potluck what you got. Okay? This one guy was having a mental episode. They took him to the hospital just to observe, to make sure he was okay. That's nothing, just make sure you're okay. But he wasn't. He wouldn't stop. So they actually had him taken to a state hospital and evaluated. They falsely diagnosed him. Gave him the wrong medicine. They gave him back off the chart all the time. Gaining weight, not sleeping, angry, outburst. And then it's like, my God, a whole different person. And I'm complaining to the office. And then he did something really odd. And I called the nurse. And she said, I want you to write a letter to his doctor and drop it off. I said, I'm not allowed. Yes. So I did. They pulled him off that other medicine. They were completely wrong. Started him on a different medicine. He can hold a job down now. He's like, when he got Well, he said, I could sue him for, oh yeah, 100%. That's negligence. And then you got to think the difference of the disorders. I don't even think where they even got that with him. Not even a little bit. These people have said she was listed insane and all this other stuff. I was never listed insane. They're lying to you. Because what state hospital was I committed to? What 2 or 3 doctors found me insane? Never happened. I would have to have a guardian after that. I couldn't be over my own money. I couldn't be held responsible for any of my actions again. So where did that ever happen? I couldn't pay my own bills. I'd be on Social Security. Sure as hell wouldn't be out working 2 jobs. They're lying to you, just like they told people I had charges. I was found guilty in court. Had people follow me. I had 1 traffic ticket from '89. They lied, and all these morons fell for it. I was never found insane. I was never committed. And I was never charged with anything. They're just lying. Now, do I have to... anything those crazy doctors that almost killed me that were just lying, ripping me off? Besides, my God, you better thank God I never sued you. Because it's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. And the only thing that was wrong with me was my muscles locked up, and they caused everything else. And people need to stop lying to... and people need to stop listening to a bunch of damn fools running around just telling people a bunch of false gossip. Turn these bastards in.